This is episode 27 of the A.N.I.M.E podcast. I'm Grunchler, and with me as always is my counterpart.
I'm Whooper. Hi, everyone listening.
He's the other half of my Franks.
What?
We're not covering that show anymore though, so.
Yeah, that's real gay though. Like,
I guess.
if we were co-piloting a Franks, that'd be pretty gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course.
But we are blood relatives.
Yes, that would...
Gay incest is definitely not wincest.
No.
What are we here to discuss? Moving on.
We're here to discuss a couple episodes from some spring shows of the anime variety.
Yeah.
And one from the 90s.
Yes, true. That was an OVA. I guess that counts as a show. I'm tired today.
How do OVAs get released if they're that periodic? Do they come out like one at a time on different DVDs?
Maybe. I don't know.
Or do they all come out like at one big lump after like 6 years?
No,
of production?
I'm pretty sure they get standalone releases. I don't know, like specifically in the case of Gundam A.N.I.M.E team. It probably got like one episode at a time released on DVD or VHS, probably, since it was the 90s. No DVDs yet.
Shout out to the collectors who have the VHS copy of A.N.I.M.E team in the original intended format.
Maybe they have it on Laserdisc. When did that come out?
I don't remember, but it didn't last long.
You're not a real anime fan if you don't have a Laserdisc player and Laserdiscs of
You're not a real anime fan if your
series.
soundtracks aren't on an 8-track.
You're not a real anime fan if you're listening to this podcast. Go watch anime.
That's probably true.
Go watch anime instead.
So what show are we going to start with today?
I don't know. But whatever it is, we're only going to talk about it for 10 minutes. That's the rule. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. So we're capping out discussion of every series at 10 minutes. So this should only take an hour and change.
All right. Let's start with A.N.I.M.E team then.
Okay, let's do it. Are you ready?
I am always ready.
A starto.
So in these two episodes, things happened.
Indeed.
Do you think that's a good summation?
Yeah, but we're going to need like 9 minutes and 45 seconds worth of stuff to put on top of that.
Okay, that's fair.
I thought episode 5 was annoying. I thought it was lame. That's the one with...
Eleanor getting...
It's Elidor.
Elidor?
Yeah.
It is?
It's
Wow.
not well, he's a man.
Well, I mean, so Eleanor could be a man's name.
Yeah, but he has a D in his name.
Okay.
So it can't be.
Because he's got a D in his body.
Sure. I thought the little conflict that he was having with Michael, I'm just going to call him Michael, even though his name is like...
Mikhail.
Yeah. I'm going to call him Michael because I'm gay.
Okay.
I thought their conflict was really petty and stupid, and I hate both of them. And I'm glad that he got shipped off to the rear guard or
to
wherever he went.
The back end of the
rear line.
war. Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason they got into trouble like they did, they got captured by the Zeon forces,
is because one of his songs was going to get pressed, and he decided to go to a bar and go get some ladies.
Yeah, they just left their base or the front line or whatever it is they were doing.
Right.
They just decided to leave and go try to score some chicks.
Yep.
And then there's this big hullabaloo when they disappear, and they're like, the other 3 members of the squad are like, oh man, we got to go find them. Just let them die. If you're in the middle of a war and they're running away from, well, I don't know if running away is fair, but if they're just leaving to go have a good time in the middle of a major conflict, then,
you can just safely assume that they're dead.
Well, forget assumptions about whether they're alive or dead. Their liabilities. Just don't. I don't know. Like
don't keep them around.
You should track them down just so you can kill them, so that they don't fall into like enemy hands or something. I don't know. I just hated them. They're annoying.
Yep. Then they escape by beating each other up and accidentally hitting the Zeon guard, and he just passes out.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like when they were squabbling in the little storeroom of that hotel where all the Zeon forces were hiding away. I thought it was going to be revealed that their big tussle was just a ruse in order to get the guard to come into their cell so that they can, conk him on the head and run out the door.
But no, they were actually just fighting at each other because they thought they were both about to die.
Yeah, it just was. I mean, it would have been equally stupid if the show had fallen back on the old trope of, oh, we lured the guard in with our fake fight. Aren't we clever?
And then we conked him on the head, took his gun, and killed everyone and saved the day.
Yeah, but this was even more stupid somehow.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that.
And then he, how does the episode end? He gropes one of Karen's boobs.
Yep.
And he's like, I've finally made it.
My goddess, I think is what he says, and then he just passes out again.
Yeah. Yep.
And he gets shot and then glass in his leg or something.
That's right. He gets shot like
he gets in like a construction mobile suit, but he won't fight back because he's a pacifist, or as I prefer to call them, pacifists.
Okay. Yeah, the whole episode was a complete misfire for me. Elidor's character, out of the 5 members of the 08th team, he has like the least going on. He's a musician, not a fighter.
I'm a lover, not a fighter, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's his character, but that character doesn't really have a place in this story because it's only 12 episodes and we're thrust into the middle of a war and everything's got to get resolved quick. We don't have time to like explore
the pacifist movement back on wherever they're from,
or just the idea that war bad, peace good. We don't really have time for that. That's what Gundam's all about. But this is a 12 episode thing. We got to get this show on the road, and he just ate up an entire episode with his stupid headness.
Yeah.
So not a fan. Episode 6 was a little better.
Yeah, episode 6 was...
You didn't take any notes on that one?
No, but I just watched it, so I should be able to remember it. And if not, I'm a failure to my race.
To your race?
The humanity.
I think that's your species.
Is it?
Yeah, you're white. That's your race.
Oh, right.
Or is that your ethnicity? I don't know. Or is
I don't know.
I don't know. Nobody sue me. Please.
It's okay. It's okay. Being white is a choice.
Episode 6. What? You can cut that out, right? Episode 6 is the one where, at the very end of it, they spend all the time in the desert.
Yeah, they do because they're trying to track down the weapon, the Zeon weapon.
Yeah, I
ran into
the Absolus.
That's what it's called.
This episode felt like anticlimactic to me. They spend all that time out in the desert. Were they waiting for like the super weapon to come back?
Mm-hmm. They were.
Okay, do you remember like midway through the episode when a jet approaches and they launch those balloons?
Yeah, that was a test.
Oh, that was a test? That wasn't an enemy fighter?
Yeah, that was Michael was controlling that. That was them practicing for when the Absolus came.
Right. So that's why everyone was pissed off at him when it veered off and crashed into the sand. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Everyone's mad at him in this episode, as they should be. Like, I wish it had been a little more clear that their frustration with him was like left over from how much of a bunghole he was in the previous episode.
And the one before that.
Oh, was he?
Remember,
like
he gave away their position
and
to the Absolus in the first place. He fired at it when,
right.
everyone's order was to hold fire.
Yeah, dude. I wish he would die and that his girlfriend, BB, whatever her name is.
BB.
I hope she moves on. No, you know what? I hope that she moves on and gets together with Chad Thundercock and he actually survives the war. He's the only survivor of the 08th MS team. And so he gets to go back home.
Who the hell is Chad Thundercock?
If you don't know, you're about to find out.
You don't know. We'll find out.
So this, I felt like this episode was kind of anticlimactic because so much time is spent on like Kiki, the little orange-haired girl, her crush on the commander,
Right.
and on what's his name, Michael's like his love, his girl
girlfriend
back
broke
home
up with him.
kind of. Yeah. I don't think she actually did.
That's kind of what it sounded like, which is why Kiki stopped reading the letter. She's like, I can't read this anymore.
Right. But then at the very end,
Like-
Shiro gets kidnapped
Yes.
by A.N.I.M.E, who's like, piloting the
He
Apsilus.
doesn't get like kidnapped, like taken hostage and run away with.
Yeah.
He's trying to destroy the Apsilus, and he's just being stubborn, and they fly away together by accident. Although they do recognize each other on local comms.
Yeah, he recognizes her voice, and I guess she does his.
as well.
Yeah, so we're at the halfway point of the show, and the destined lovers are together
Finally
again.
united.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kiki.
Too bad for her. I don't really care about her or her crush or her little romance thing. I don't.
Fine.
She's just everyone in the show annoys me. Except the Sanders and Karen.
That's because they don't say much.
Yeah, probably. If they open their mouths more, I'd probably be pissed at them too.
Sanders like judo throws Michael.
Yeah, he
this
does.
episode.
And it just, the way it was animated, it
looks like he floated for like 5 seconds before he hit the ground.
Yeah, but also before that, the way he threw him, it looked like he weighed nothing. Looked like he was an empty burlap sack.
I mean, look at the two of them comparatively, though. Like, it would be like him throwing a burlap sack.
Yeah, I mean, Sanders is a big, buff black guy, and Michael's just a disgrace to his race.
Yup. Throw him around like a sack.
Are we done? Are we done with this show? Oh, 15 seconds till the timer goes off.
All right, so
Let's just cancel it.
Oh, and then we'll move on to Lupin.
Sure.
Ce soir. De toi.
Yeah, Lupin III.
Lupin toi.
Indeed.
I think that's what it is.
Dude, what the hell was going on in episode 6?
Okay, yeah, let's go. I have no idea. It was just some zany side story.
I guess. I haven't seen any TV series, any Lupin TV series, barring part 4, which came before this, and like the spin-off, The Woman Called Fujiko Mine. So I haven't seen any of the green jacket, the pink jacket, the red jacket series, the older ones. And at one point in this episode, he was wearing a pink jacket. So maybe this was a throwback to the way Lupin episodes used to be structured, but I don't think they were ever like this.
They were just like one-shot stories.
Well, yeah, most of the time they are, or maybe two-parters, but I don't think they were ever like this. Because the episode opens with the introduction of the two brothers, and it's like supposed to be their story, and Lupin and the gang, they're just intruding, kind of.
Yeah.
It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't think that Lupin is generally like this.
I don't know. I definitely thought it was weird.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
I remember you said at some point that this series seemed to have like a darker tone than the other stuff that you'd watched.
Well, I don't know if darker tone is fair. Just the stuff about A.N.I.M.E being part of like a child prostitution ring. That is a little strange.
But in this episode, they're like hitting each other with like small mallets and trying to hit Lupin's
They're trying to
head
bring
enough
Lupin's
so that his
IQ
IQ goes down.
Yeah. The less said about this episode, the better. Honestly, it was. I don't know what the intent was on the part of the creative team.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a break in between two different stories.
I guess, but like, why do this particular bit? Why?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that because I don't know anything else about Lupin.
Yeah,
All I can say is it was weird, but kind of funny.
I was like gagging the whole time. I didn't get anything from it, unfortunately.
I mean, it wasn't funny in a good way.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah. So let's talk about the wrap up to the last 5 or the first 5 episodes, which was episode 5.
Yeah, at the end of episode 5, it
That like the end.
Yeah. Well, it probably said Elfin episode 1. It said something about like episode 1 or part 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of makes me think that the rest of the series is going to be broken up into like chunks.
Minisodes.
Well, no, not. I don't know if that's the right word.
Mini
but like
series.
Little arcs.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That's what I thought when that happened. When I thought that ended, I thought the next episode would be the start of another one.
Right. But it won't be. I think based on the next episode preview for episode 7, that's what we're going to get.
I don't watch the previews ever.
Okay. So what, how did it, oh yeah, it was all augmented reality, baby. Lupin didn't actually get shot in the head. He just stood in the exact right millimeter position and it looked like he got shot in the head. But don't you remember, like, Zenigata actually sees him get shot, right? He wasn't looking at a screen or anything.
Right.
And he sees him get shot and he's like, Lupin! With his Zenigata voice. So if it was augmented reality, how did he actually see the...
He still would have heard a gunshot. That's what the smoke was for. The gunshot and then Lupin falling over in the smoke. The smoke was to deceive Zenigata.
Right. But when the show cuts straight from the smoke in the foreground, but like the blood spatter being visible through the smoke, and then it cuts to Zenigata's face.
Right.
That's how I remember it being.
I think you're right, but I think that might have been a misdirection on purpose.
More like a plot hole. Ha! I got him.
Can't have those.
I'm going to learn Japanese so I can write a strongly worded letter to TMS Entertainment.
Just have Google Translate do it.
I guess I could if I wanted it to be in like, so English.
The most broken Japanese ever.
Broken English is English. What is broken Japanese?
Japanese.
Okay. Sure. I'm going to send him a letter about that plot hole.
Word.
It was all a dream.
I used to read Word Up magazine.
Yeah. So here's what I don't understand. Why, like the water filter was also AR.
Yeah. That
A.N.I.M.E rigged up. But then why did it appear as though she was sitting in the chair with water in front of her?
It was a filter over Lupin.
I know, but I thought it was just the water filter. So it was a water filter and
both. Yeah.
Okay.
That stuff exists.
Yeah. But like for the last 5-6 episodes or whatever, all this show has been doing is like pulling out the super elite, ultra class A hacker skills in every situation.
Happy Death Day.
So I'm glad that A.N.I.M.E has gone to boarding school because she's just a walking like Deus Ex Machina.
Hey, don't you be knocking Deus Ex. A great game.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's not what I was talking about.
I know. I know what Deus Ex Machina is.
She goes to boarding school and she's like all happy about it after having been molested and as a child
in a basement and then run around with an internationally renowned thief and hunted.
Her character just she went out into the desert and she dunked her head in a little reservoir thing and
she learned what it meant to be alive.
Yeah, and to be outside.
Hey, it's such a beautiful day. We really should go outside. I didn't mind her character too much.
She was just like a walking plot device.
Isn't that what everyone is?
I mean, the show, if you don't have to be so transparent about it. You don't have to make your character like have a catchphrase, "Hello Underworld," that makes her earring glow and solves all the problems of all the main characters. You know what I actually thought was going to happen was Zenigata got reassigned to narcotics because Lupin was presumed dead. And there was a moment in the episode that made me think that he was actually going to stay in narcotics and that he wasn't going to chase Lupin anymore. What was it?
When he didn't contest it?
Yeah. It was when Peekaboo, like the hacker guy who was running that site, Marco Polo.
Yep.
When Lupin is like, when he runs out the door with A.N.I.M.E and leaves Peekaboo behind, and Zenigata,
Zenigata has him
captures
cuffed.
him. He's like, we're going to have a nice long chat now that I'm in narcotics. You're all mine, or something like that. I thought the show was like acknowledging the fact that he wasn't going to chase Lupin anymore because he was in a different division.
No, I think Zenigata took the demotion to narcotics specifically so that he could get those 3 guys.
That's an interesting theory. I don't think he was really even aware of those guys.
He said he knew that Lupin wasn't dead. And he had to have known more than just Lupin's escaped. I got to run after him.
Yeah, I'm sure he felt that Lupin was alive. That's his whole purpose as a human being, is to try to get Lupin and fail.
You want to talk
time.
about a plot device? Zenigata is a plot device.
No, Goemon is the ultimate plot device. He just shows up, cuts bullets in half, cuts cars in half, cuts airplanes in half.
Asks for his food money back.
Yes, that's right. But that's episode 6. We don't talk about episode 6.
We don't talk about season 4.
Okay. Are we about done with Lupin?
I think so.
They actually when Lupin and Jigen are posing as the old men and they go down and get the pepper grinder and stuff, and they come back up and they're eating.
Yeah. They
actually mentioned that he's back with ICPO and he's like anti-theft again, I guess, or he's on Lupin's tail again. So everything is as it was.
Yep. Nothing changed except now Lupin's rich.
He's always rich.
Beyond his wildest dreams.
Yep. I guess so.
Buy an island if he wants to.
Oh, you hear that, folks? Is it picking it up?
It might pick that up.
Okay, great. Okay, next.
This means we get to talk about everybody's favorite show,
Boku no Hero Academia.
I was going to say that, but I was going to switch it out for something else at the last second, but let's do it.
This is everyone's favorite, but it's not my favorite.
I know it's not your favorite. You don't like anything that's popular.
Dude, that's definitely not it. I like Death Note.
Yeah, well, there are a couple exceptions.
I like Full Metal Alchemist. Okay, so the story is, like, in a rush to get ready for this podcast that we're throwing together at the last minute, which you could probably tell judging by our prolonged silences and general awkwardness.
Yep. You mean that's not normal?
I was watching. Well, maybe for you. I'm a master.
I'm a bit more eloquent in my.
I'm a master of taste and class and general eloquence. Anyway, I was watching Boku no Hero Academia on my phone so that my brother over here could watch a bunch of other series on my desktop, laptop, computer, whatever.
Drop top.
Sure. And I had to watch it on my phone, like I'm assuming millions of people do.
Right. Pleb status.
Yeah. And I was just like zoning in and out the entire time. I'm not sure I could recap what just happened.
Really?
In those 2 episodes. Like a lot of yelling. There was a lot of yelling and
what's every shonen?
And punching. So you know what? Why don't you take us through it?
All right, so this was episodes 43 and 44.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, 43, we had... Or my notes on 43.
Oh, you don't remember?
Oh, of course I don't remember. The villain's plan's kind of revealed. Not really. Eraserhead versus a lot of running.
You're literally just reading from your notes.
Right, because I wrote this so I could read it off for people who don't understand the episode.
For people who don't understand it, how could you
understand?
How could you not understand this episode? It was literally like, hero's good, villain's bad.
That's the entire show.
I know, it's disappointing.
Oh, let's take a shonen and let's make a finely crafted literary masterpiece to explain the subtle nuances between good and evil. Or how about we just have a bunch of people with cool powers punch each other? Which of those do you think is going to sell better?
I don't care about what sells better. Like on the subtlety scale from 1 to 10, I would prefer like at least a 2. Even if we could even hit 2, I would be like happy as a clam.
Where do you think we are right now?
We're at a 1. We're at the lowest like of the low.
I thought you were going to say like 0.5 or something, but okay.
Anyway,
I'll take a 1.
You do say whatever.
Eraserhead versus running a lot. Fists versus monologues. Steel versus bullets. Ice versus teeth. Bakugo's targeted. Because basically there were a couple different plots happening at the same point. Because it's just shifting between characters the whole time, and that's everything that happened. Eraserhead ran around a lot, and picked up a kid and ran him back. And that was all he did that episode. And then Fist versus Monologues, while 2 of the Pussycats were fighting Spinner and the Steel Dude, they started monologuing about how like they needed to like respect the hero killer Stain's wishes. And both of the Pussycat dolls just got both their people because they were monologuing.
You have any like opinions on the episode as opposed to
just what happened?
Like what happened? Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. I like the punching and the screaming and the fights and the dude with teeth made of razors.
What is that guy's deal?
His teeth are. He's on death row. Like he's a convicted serial murderer who escaped death row.
Yeah, but how can his teeth just endlessly grow metal stuff?
That's his power.
I feel like the abilities and the powers in this show are just the author. They're literally whatever the author wants.
What's wrong with that?
I don't like.
Have you not like delved deeply into the Marvel universe or the DC universe as to how ridiculous some people's powers are?
I have not.
There's a hero whose power grows in strength when people don't remember him for a length of time. So he shows up like once every couple hundred issues, BTFOs some huge villain. People remember him. He has no power again and disappears until no one else can.
How does he stay alive for hundreds of years?
It's another part of his power. And it's not hundreds of years. It's like, months or weeks. Time doesn't pass very quickly in the Marvel universe.
Okay, well, I don't really care about the Marvel universe or the Boku no Hero universe, for that matter.
Okay. Well, I do, because I think it's cool. And
yeah, but there has to be something beyond just like, I think it's cool, right?
Why does there have to be something beyond that?
Because then all you're doing is like eating virtual popcorn.
If I'm entertained, that is the point of television, because it is called entertainment, right?
I guess.
So if television qualifies that need, then...
Qualifies that need?
I'm bad at using fancy words. I don't want to just be Captain Dumb Man.
The Boku no Hero fan base, everyone.
The ultimate snob, everyone.
All right, so
I like the show because I think it's cool.
How about episode 44?
Episode 44 was a continuation of 43, as was probably obvious.
More fighting?
Yep. What's
the deal with the blood-sucking girl?
We don't know yet.
So, like, speculate, though. Instead of saying just, like, I think it's cool because I like it.
Speculate.
Like, what do you think her power is? Why does she need blood?
Maybe she has a power similar to what Stain has. Or Stain could, like...
He immobilizes people.
Immobilize people based on... Maybe she's able to learn something about them or clone them or something like that. Or develop a toxin that stops specifically them. Because she had a task to specifically collect 3 different people's blood. Which there's probably a reason for that. Or maybe she's just crazy, has no powers, and she's like one of those people who fights with... or one of the support class people. Remember?
What support class? Like class B?
No, the support class. Like there's class A, there's class B, there's the support class, then there's like a math class or something. Or an engineering class.
Oh. I thought that
Because during the tournament, Ida fights that one girl who has just a bunch of inventions and she's just showing off to investors.
Right.
She's a support class. She doesn't have any powers, but she has a bunch of cool inventions that kind of fight for her. Just like the hero who's basically a bulldozer.
In my memory, I kind of conflated Class B and the support class. So I thought that the Class B had some people with no superpowers who just were
the only
like
one who doesn't have superpowers
super Bruce Wayne
is,
geniuses.
The only one who doesn't have superpowers is Midoriya.
Well, he has a superpower.
What is now?
He has the greatest power of all, being the main character of a shonen series.
One for all.
Yeah, that's his power. He's super.
We also saw Tokuyami's Dark Shadow go nuts and just.
Yeah, that was when I was zoning out. I was like, oh my God, the darkness inside is so powerful.
That's supposed to be.
He needs his friends to quell the darkness inside.
You don't have to try to look for symbolism everywhere because it's possible that it's not intended to be there.
That's not symbolic at all. That's literally what happened. His inner beast guy was raging, and the guy with the 6 limbs or whatever, that dude is weird.
The guy who can just duplicate his arms at will.
Yes.
And do all of his different
and like
body parts.
he has like 6 limbs and they form a wing and then there are eyeballs and mouths on the end.
Yep.
He
Dupla arms.
Yeah, like just the abilities and the powers in this show are so strange and don't really seem to have any consistency.
I like that. That's how they're strange. They're supposed to be mutations. A mutation could be literally anything. And I think,
okay, but then how do you explain Stain's power? How is he able to immobilize someone just by consuming their blood, like on his end, physically? How does the immobilization like travel through the air to the other person's nerve cells?
I don't know.
It just when you like put it under a microscope or even just a magnifying glass.
How does Superman shoot lasers out of his eyes and breathe ice?
Because he's from another planet. He's an alien.
But does that explain how it?
It at least provides an explanation. Apart from, oh yeah, this guy's a bird. He's a bird with a dark shadow. It just doesn't make any sense, dude.
Well, how many series of Superman are there?
I don't know. I don't care.
How long did it take him to explain his powers? We're what, 40 episodes in?
Yeah. We are, and it feels every bit of 40 episodes. Every bit of 44 episodes.
All right, well, I guess we're done talking about that.
Yep, we sure are.
We'll move on to Hinamatsuri.
Yeah.
This is a show where things happen.
Sometimes they're funny.
And other times
they're emotional.
Yep.
And I even though the show is a comedy, I prefer the stuff that's more like a little slice of life with some lesson learning and some emotionality to it.
Turns out that our friend in middle school isn't a prostitute. She's just a bartender.
Yeah, like that was the A story, I guess, in episode 6. That was the first half of it. And I much preferred the second half.
Right, where it's Anzu moving in with the other family because the homeless people are being kicked out of the park.
Right. Yeah, and just the idea that because she's an alien, right? So when she comes to Earth, she doesn't have any idea she has no social skills, she doesn't understand the concept of paying for things,
right,
et cetera, et cetera. She doesn't have a place to live because she's too proud originally to ask Hina, like, can I live with you? Or if maybe she didn't see that as an option. But she's losing her way of life and her home and her friends. Yeah. So it was nice that she got to learn as a child would, because she looks like a kid. Who knows how old she really is, but she's learning like a kid would, that when you say goodbye to somebody, it's not goodbye forever. At least not like, mentally or emotionally, because you still have your memories of them and they still have their memories of you, of, the person you're saying goodbye to. So she got to learn that in this episode. And I thought that was nice.
And then she's going to be a greeter.
Yes, that's right. That's
what the end card was.
right.
But we kind of glossed over episode 5.
Well, we glossed over episode 6 too.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be a quick podcast this time, so we're going to gloss over everything.
We still have almost 8 minutes left to talk about this series. So, in episode 6, did you I preferred the second story. What did you like better? The one with Hisone and her classmates trying to figure out what her deal was?
I preferred the second story as well. I liked the first story because it's, generally speaking, I don't turn to Japan for my serious, heartbreaking dramas. I go to them for goofy things and people punching each other because they do that pretty well.
Yeah, well, that's what America's all about right now too. If you look at the Marvel movies,
and DC,
goofy things and people punching each other.
Well, the Marvel TV shows are also fairly dramatic as well.
Okay,
or at least they're trying to be.
They're trying.
And you haven't watched any of them, so you have no frame of reference to say otherwise.
Nope, I don't. But I'm sure they're trying their best to be dark and edgy. But Hinamatsuri it's fun and nice.
It's fun and dark.
And sometimes they learn lessons, and I like it.
Let's go buy a TV.
Right, that was episode 5.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't really get any like chuckles or kicks out of her classmates trying to figure out whether she was like dating an older man or whether she was a prostitute or what her deal was.
I thought it was weird how fluidly animated they were during that whole thing. Because they had way more motion than I expected they would.
What, the classmates?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
It was animated like really well.
Okay.
Surprisingly well.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good thing, obviously, but it's just like, okay, you guys are standing in a hallway talking to each other, but there's more going on here than in most other shows' action scenes. What's happening?
I don't even remember that in the least.
I do.
But you just watched it.
Yeah, I know, I did. So I guess that's kind of cheating a little bit.
I guess. You're not being graded.
Yes.
Just kidding. You are being graded, and your appreciation of certain series, which have already been named, but we shall not name again, gives you an F. You get an F for
being a pleb.
I was gonna. Never mind.
Being a super weeb.
I didn't like
How about it?
The stuff with the kids trying to figure out.
Oh, okay. I was talking about episode 5.
It was mostly them making goofy faces.
Yeah.
And I'm like, eh.
And involving Hina, who the whole time is just like, what's going on?
Right. That was the one bit that was kind of funny to me. She was just constantly asking what was happening, what was going on, because she was utterly clueless.
Yeah, well, she's just useless.
Well, she's like all powerful, but she's also kind of like lazy. A slug.
Yeah. She's sloth. Slacking. Very slow, very powerful.
Right. No, actually, Slacking has a really high speed stat, I think. He just has a bad ability.
Yeah, I know. He literally takes time off between every move.
Right. Yeah, okay, so you were trying to talk about episode 5. I kind of cut you off.
Yeah, I think that whole episode was half of it was the finding a TV to get money for Anzu, and the other half was introducing Hina to Nita's family.
Yeah.
I liked introducing Hina to Nita's family. I thought that was interesting, especially his reaction when she picks up the phone and like who he's talking to, and he can hear. He's like, "Wait, what do you mean, Mom?" And then just like grabs the phone like he doesn't like want to talk to his estranged family or something like that.
No, they're not estranged.
I know.
Well, they kind of are. Because
they mention that they don't see each other that much
because of his job,
right? Because they know what he actually is.
Yeah,
and his sister, who's a stay-at-home drunk.
Yeah, living the dream.
Is that like a large percentage of Japan or something?
I don't know.
Is that like a huge problem over there?
I don't know, dude. I don't know shit about Japan. I just pretend to on YouTube.
That's the best place to pretend to do anything. Because
It pretty much is, because it's a sea of mediocrity and anonymity. Nobody knows who you are, and they don't know if you're bullshitting because everybody is.
if everyone's lying, that means they're all telling the truth.
That's some Boku no Hero logic right there.
That's some next.
They'll probably trot that out in the next episode.
Why are you just the worst?
I don't know, man.
That's a good question.
What were we talking about? Episode 5.
Episode 5, the first half with the family.
Yeah. Both of those stories were just okay. For me, the thing with Anzu like moving out and moving into the home of the Chinese restaurant couple, that like blew everything else out of the water for me.
I knew it would.
Not just for either of these episodes, but like for everything that I watched for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Because you're watching other stuff too.
No, I just mean of these 5 shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
The thing that made me laugh the hardest during the TV plot, where they're trying to find like used TVs to sell, and they end up, getting new ones. The thing that made me laugh the hardest, I'm not even sure was an intentional joke, but after they learn about the TVs, like, which are a much more efficient way to get money than just getting cans, it cuts to a shot of them like looking through the grass.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Like, they have no concept of what a TV is.
Yeah. That actually made me laugh out loud, but I'm not sure that it was an intended joke.
Yeah, I don't know if they were like looking for 4-leaf clovers or something. Like, if there's some crazy homeless guy who collects them.
Well, no, I don't think they were, because
you'd think that the person who's helping them would have been like, hey, why are we looking for TVs in the grass, guys?
Well, Anzu calls Hitomi.
Right.
And then she's like really troubled when it's revealed that Hina is also her friend from school. She's got like a real fragile ego about that, I guess. And because she's just learned what the concept of friendship is. But Hitomi comes over and starts helping them look. What are they looking for? It must be TVs, right? In the grass. That's supposed to be funny. I'm supposed to laugh at that. I can't.
I don't know what the joke was supposed to be there.
It made me laugh though. They were like, oh, we need to find some TVs. Cut to them on their hands and knees in a grassy field looking for something.
Just got to get those TVs when they're seedlings, man. And you can raise them up to be nice plasmas.
Right.
Unless they turn into those bad CRTs.
No, CRTs are good.
CRTs are worthless.
Dude, it made me really sad.
10 yen.
Yeah. It made me really sad when, I was going to tell you what made me really sad, but I can't because the timer's going off. Listen. All right, what's next?
Maso-tan. Maso-tan.
Hisamaso.
Hisamaso.
Hisamaso. I love that little, what is it called? An eye catch, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's called an eye catch in the middle.
Still doesn't beat chaka 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 chaka.
I'm sad that Kokoku got rid of that.
Yeah, it just got silent.
Through. Yeah. The show got worse in all departments as it went on.
Yeah, it got worse in the writing, the story, the animation, and then all of a sudden they got rid of the one redeeming quality, the eye catch in the middle. And we kept watching.
And the accompanying chant. We sure did, dude. I'm about ready to drop all of these shows. We should just drop them all.
Really?
Sure.
I can never tell if you're serious. You get bored of things in like 2 seconds.
That's true. I do.
Like, I hate watching things week to week.
I was kind of bored with these episodes of Hisone to Maso-tan a little bit.
Really? I thought these were the best ones.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why? Because of the introduction of like the overarching like story or plot?
Yeah, it seemed like I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what I want to say.
What do you want to say?
Something happened.
Oh.
You know?
Well, the first thing the show did was introduce the three new
OTF pilots.
Yeah.
And their dragons.
Right. So the one that
or 2 dragons and an F2.
the one that's receiving the most attention is Hoshino, whose tack name is
Penguin.
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 Yeah. And
Pinky.
she's like a hard ass. She makes her dragon stay in fighter jet form all the time.
Apparently, it does that by itself. It's not
What?
just her. She's not like commanding it to do that. It just does.
Really?
Yeah, it's mentioned.
Oh,
When the 2 guys are sitting next to each other
what 2 guys?
at the end of episode 6.
We've only watched episodes 4 and 5.
At the end of episode 5.
Oh, he says that it just stays like that?
Dude, we don't know who he is, dude with the gray hair who's like an overarching commander.
We
or
know
something.
who he is. He's like a vice admiral or something. His name is Iboshi.
He's sitting next to another guy and he explains that.
Okay. Yeah, he explained a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like
destinies and our time is short and like, okay,
Yeah.
what's happening
and all
now?
the dragons always choose white lovers, and that means
People who are
white lovers, people who are not a disgrace to their race.
I was about to say, but if they're in Japan, none of those people are white. Ethnically wise.
Ethnically wise.
Yo, I'm ethnically wise.
The white lovers means like girls who can't feel self-love or self-acceptance or something.
It's people's self-esteem issues.
Yeah, I guess. I just thought that whole bit was like completely on the nose. And it just wanted to be like Ava, where all the pilots have to be like damaged,
Clinically insane.
and then they have to like be healed by contacting the souls of their mothers and the
In the Avas.
and the dragons. It's just weird. I'm getting Ava vibes from Iboshi and all of his talk about like upcoming festivals and like bonds between the pilots and the OTFs.
I think it would be really cool if they pulled like a 180 on all that stuff and it turns out to be like a literal festival, and if it was none of this was imagery. They weren't trying to like paint some deeper picture. There was just all surface level. And it's like, what were you looking into? I don't understand.
Well, that's kind of what I assumed the show would be. For the first handful of episodes, it was mostly like light and fun.
Light, fun, cute show about girls and dragons. Watch this. But there's a deep darkness inside of us all.
Yeah, the whole big plot that Iboshi keeps alluding to honestly seems like food for people who just want things to happen. The show's like, here, you want something to quote unquote happen. Oh, well, here you go. Look, we're talking about a big secret plot. Is this happening enough for you?
It's happening.
I'm not digging it.
Yeah, you go from liking shows to not liking them in about a span of 3 episodes. The first 3, and then no.
Okay.
You liked, I don't remember what the show is called.
What?
The Ainsworth, the horn dude, and the Chisei.
Oh, yeah.
You liked that show for the first 3 episodes, then you didn't like it anymore.
Well, don't you agree that show was a flaming turd? It got like super boring after a while.
Technically speaking, Mushishi is super boring.
No, it isn't. Mushishi is
It's just a guy
not boring.
slowly talking and walking around.
Dude,
That's like the whole show.
but oh my God, dude, that's so frustrating that you and other people who say that stuff like have that mistaken belief. It's not just like what happens in a show, a list of bullet points that you can write down, the actions that characters take. That is not all that matters. That's not all that determines whether something is going on or whether something's interesting. The way this show frames its action, the music, the way it looks, the animation, the general feeling that it gives you.
So what feeling does this show give you?
What? Hisone to Maso-tan?
That's the first time you've ever said the feeling a show gives you. If you get a good feeling from a show, you don't have to explain why it's good.
Dude, no, it's not only the feeling that it gives you. The feeling that you get is what results from everything that it's doing to depict its it's what's happening. A show can just be a guy walking through the woods talking about blah blah blah. That's Mushishi.
No, nothing happens.
The Mushishi is often more than that, but a show can just be about a guy like walking around and talking, but you can make it like visually striking or atmospheric. Or
but that's not going to be for everyone.
No, it won't be for everyone.
So some people
personal preference does come into it, and I'm saying like I didn't like these. I didn't like the turn that the show takes. Like I don't know.
You wanted it to be less.
I just wanted it to be more airy and like. But we'll see where it goes from here.
Okay.
Just the like large amount of focus that was put on Hoshino, and how she's like a hard ass and she wants to prove herself and to become like a fighter.
The first female fighter pilot.
Right. Yeah, there's a line of dialogue in episode 4, I think. It's got something to do with like, oh yeah, when the 3 girls get there, the guy with the pompadour, like the drill sergeant instructor guy, whatever he's in charge of, he immediately makes them run laps, and he's yelling about how you got to be like as good as men or better.
You have to work twice as hard to be as good as them.
To keep up with them. Yeah.
Right.
So she seems to have that chip on her shoulder. Like she doesn't want to be seen as a caretaker. She doesn't want to be seen as feminine. So that's part of what's playing into like her stiffness and like her personality of being kind of closed off, and
I guess.
Yeah. So maybe now that she's on this deserted island with the other girls as part of this mission, and there's no guys around, maybe they'll bond with like girl power, and she'll get in touch with her feminine side or something.
Or maybe learn that it's okay to be feminine.
It's okay to be gay.
It's okay to be gay. Anyway, what did you think about the other pilots? We've got Sloth.
You mean Jimmy?
No, I'm going by their deadly sins. We've got Sloth.
The one who's boring her time.
We've got
is
Gluttony.
Jimmy. Right.
We've got.
And she's Morris.
Yeah.
It's Jimmy and Morris. I don't know. I don't really feel anything about either of those two yet.
Trying to think of what the other 3 pilots would be if they were each homunculi. One of the 7 homunculi, which would they be?
Hisone would be shut up. Just shut up and stop blurting out your feelings and thoughts and just general thought process.
I don't think I've ever met someone like that.
Yeah, it's all the characters are just like little tropes. And they're a little scene around the campfire where they're talking about, oh yeah, no one really understands me. I really can't accept who I really am. No one understands
me.
I just, I don't really fit in. Just kind of
hate
lame.
it.
Yeah.
Just like you hated all the scenes in Frank's where they were talking.
Around a campfire on the beach.
Yep.
Yeah, those scenes are generally shitty. There are ways for characters to express their personality so that Boku no Hero fans can understand what the hell's going on.
Is that why you don't understand what's going on? Because you're not a Boku no Hero fan?
My IQ is not sufficiently high.
Are your ideals high enough?
I keep my ideals. All right, Megalo Box, episodes 5 and 6. We're almost done with this damn thing.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I'm a guy with PTSD because a bomb blew up and scarred my face. And now I'm boxing and I'm a disgrace 'cause my legs are breaking and I cannot fight through the night. And Joe beat me, even though he has no gear, which doesn't make any sense.
Well,
it doesn't make any sense that he's beating
well said
guys that are ranked 17th or whatever when he has no gear.
Why does that not make sense? Nanbu is supposed to be like a legendary trainer.
Yeah, and he trained the other guy who Joe was fighting.
Right. But the other guy didn't have real legs.
I guess, but he had robot legs. Don't you think that would make
They weren't
him...
robot legs. They were like spring-loaded prosthetics.
Yeah, I guess.
And you saw at the end they were starting to come apart.
Yeah, I did think it was cool, that he stopped fighting and prioritized his health and like the use of his legs over getting revenge on Nanbu indirectly by beating Joe.
Because he also realized that he couldn't have beaten Joe at that point.
I kind of got that sense from the show, like Joe had come back and he was actually going to beat him, but I didn't like that. I thought it would have been better, like the message would have been more effective. What the fuck? Okay. I thought the message would have been more effective if it had been clear that like Joe was going to lose and that Aragaki was going to win, but he called it off. And decided to put himself first and to move forward and to make sure that he would be able to continue to walk and
right
and all that. But instead we got the version that we got where like Joe was coming back, man. He got like one lucky punch that turned the tide of the fight, and then there was that scene where they were just like hitting each other a million times.
Yep.
I didn't like the fight itself.
Joe never gives up.
That's true. He's a scrappy...
He's a junkyard dog.
Yeah. He's, he professionally like took hits as the fight thrower, in the underground ring,
so
where Nanbu was his manager.
Got to be pretty tough to be able to do that.
I guess, yeah.
I think Joe knew that this fight, that if it went on longer, that he would win. The other guy would become fatigued because he's much older.
Is he that much older?
Yeah.
How old is Joe? I don't know how old he is.
Joe's like probably a teenager.
I mean, we get the sense that he's kind of like some punk upstart, but we don't actually know how old he is. We know Aragaki's old enough to have been shipped off to war and come back.
And then have several years pass.
I guess.
Long enough for Nanbu to shut down his gym, move away, and look completely different when he comes back.
I think his gym probably shut down during the war. That's why it was gone when Aragaki returned.
Right, yeah.
I burped.
You very much did.
What? I very much did. That's true.
It is true.
I see you took a grand total of like 3 lines of notes for episode 6.
Well, a lot of episode 6 was just the fight.
Did you notice that some of the punches during the fight they literally just look like drawings? I know that.
I mean, some of them it was literally like a bunch of still frames right after each other with sound effects.
Well, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was the scene where they were hitting each other and getting all bloodied up. Yeah. Those were just those weren't stills. The characters were actually like moving slowly apart to indicate like the aftermath of the punch.
Oh, well, there were 2 stills moving then. Or 2 frames with a background. There wasn't like constant motion from both characters.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like some of the punches that were thrown in real time. They just looked like a bunch of drawings. I know that's what anime is.
Right.
But they looked just completely wimpy.
I think some of that was on purpose, like for them to be like slow motion or something.
No way, dude. It was no way.
I don't know. I did notice that a lot of the fight didn't look spectacular.
It was completely underwhelming.
But it's hard to have a fight last that long and be able to afford to animate it really well the whole time. It was a good 20 minutes of if you total both episodes of them just standing there punching each other.
Yeah, I think that might actually be some of my issue, is that it felt like, I mean, that was part of the lead up to the fight, was Nanbu was teaching Joe to distribute his weight evenly.
Right.
And Aragaki, being a former pupil of Nanbu's, he was doing the same thing. But it did feel sometimes as though the boxers were just standing there and it was just their arm moving. Like you didn't get a sense that they were putting their body behind the punch. And that was detrimental to my like appreciation of their fight. I mean, maybe that there was like a misguided attempt to make some of the jabs like really quick and not have a bunch of weight behind them, but it didn't work out. Okay. I was like, yawn.
Your prediction about the kid was right. He is just going to be a cheerleader for the rest of the show.
Of course. What else can he do? He's like a little tiny baby.
Little baby.
I mean, he looks up data about the enemies on his Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it looks like a Nintendo Switch.
I know. I mean, for all the good that he does in the story, he might as well just sit in a corner and play the Nintendo Switch.
He might as well.
And not say anything or do anything.
He might as well just be Hina looking for TVs in the grass.
Hina, at least, is like kind of funny sometimes. The kid is just annoying. Oh no, Joe fell down. They're counting to 10. It's at 9. Is he going to get up? Joe, get up. You can do it.
Pranked 10 and series over. Thanks for the money, suckers.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just making words at this point.
We're losing the plot.
Hello, darkness, my old. I already said that.
Why do you have that written there?
I just
because
the tone of the episode is just really dark. Yeah, it shows him like about to kill himself.
That's true.
Like he's got the gun in his mouth, and then he sees something, and
he sees the ticket.
Yeah, the ticket
to the dog fight.
Yeah, that
Nanbu gave
spent
him
all his money on. Yeah. He's like, I was gonna get you a nice meal, but I lost
all my money at the track.
Yep,
or something. And that's what motivates him to continue living so that he can get revenge. But in the end,
forgiveness is the best medicine.
Yeah. A lesson was learned.
As always is in A.N.I.M.E.
Yeah, but at least it wasn't like a million characters with a bunch of powers, and whenever a new one comes on screen, they literally put the character's name in the power, and they like scream about justice at the top of their lungs. At least the character learn something by coming to that realization himself and like putting it into action by throwing in the towel.
At least the fights with only 2 characters didn't look like a bunch of still frames.
I mean, yeah, it's not every studio can be Bones, and not every fight can be looking like, One Punch Man.
Yeah. Which wasn't Bones.
No,
it was
Madhouse, but that's the show that jumped to mind.
Yeah.
I was bored by the fight in episode 6. I thought Aragaki was cool character design, interesting idea to bring the war into it. I don't know like when the war happened, what it was about.
It was the rich people versus the poors, man. That's why there's that big disparity between the two. The rich people won, the poor people lost.
But seriously though.
No, I don't know. It's the same thing when we were watching Violet Evergarden, and they brought the war in out of nowhere, and it just had almost no bearing on the show.
It had a huge bearing on the show, and it wasn't out of nowhere. The problem was
it just didn't.
We didn't know like
the context,
why the war was being fought. Yeah, and in this show, it comes up out of nowhere,
and we have no idea what the context for the war is either.
Yeah, but we still get a good arc from Aragaki's character that he was like in the depths of hell,
right?
And he managed to thanks in part to Joe showing him that you can continue to fight and like be tenacious and do it for yourself.
Right.
So Aragaki did something for himself by throwing in the towel.
Even though his trainer was about to do it.
Yeah. But they came to that realization together because they both knew he was at his limit as far as his legs were concerned. So that was nice, but that like the actual boxing match, I was like, eh. Show isn't looking as good as it did in the first couple episodes.
It's the Gynax problem.
No, that's the anime problem. You spend a whole bunch of money to hook people on your show, and then you start, phoning in every episode until you get to like the last couple of them. It's a real problem. All right, we're done.
Yeah, let's rank some shows, boy.
Let's do it. Oh man, this is going to be the shortest podcast ever. I love it. You got your sticky note up or whatever you wrote on?
I do.
Man, this episode was an abortion and a half.
Well, at least we got the half. That way we can have some stem cells and grow a new show that's better.
Stem cells.
We're going to make our own Shakey's pizza.
All right, My Hero Academia last place.
Last place, Lupin.
Okay, I put Lupin fourth.
Fourth, Megalo Box.
Third, Megalo Box.
Third, Hinamatsuri.
All right, I put Hisone to Maso-tan second.
Maso-tan was second.
Okay. And I put Hinamatsuri in first place.
First was My Hero Academia. Because I like shouting and punching and fighting, and I don't care what anyone else says.
Yeah, but could you say something about it beyond like, I don't know, I liked it and I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I think the show looks good. I like that the powers are ridiculous because, having seen a bazillion Marvel movies, it's interesting to see.
Dude, forget about Marvel.
It's interesting to see a new idea for a power or character, something that's kind of off the wall or out there.
But the thing is that
it's not like, oh, there's the telepath. This guy's really strong. I realize we have that. Or, it's not like, it's not like every Mario game. Grasslands Desert Fire, Water.
But it is. See, you keep bringing up Marvel, but this doesn't have shit to do with Marvel. It's just Naruto. It's just Bleach. It's just Dragon Ball Z. And in that sense, it is like every Mario game. Grasslands, Fire, Water, Desert, whatever.
It's just, all the different worlds you always go through.
It's just
Mario.
like the hero who's like the pinnacle of goodness and justice. And do you remember the scene in maybe episode 6, where Deku is on that weird 6-limb guy's back, and one of the villains is talking about how he's gonna kidnap Bakugo or something.
Episode 6.
Oh, sorry, 44. It's episode 6 of the 3rd season.
Oh yeah, he's being carried by
6-limb guy, whatever.
Todoroki.
And one of the villains makes some kind of comment about how they're gonna like defeat them or kidnap the guy who's always shouting. And Deku's like, you can't kidnap him, you can't do that. And the villain's like, well, yes I can, or it's not going to do you any good to be shouting, or I can't remember the exchange exactly, but his response is to shout the exact same thing even louder. It's just like the switch, the on-off switch in his brain and the brain of like the mangaka who designed the series is just off. It's like duct taped down. Or Uraraka has like touched it so that the gravity is constantly affecting it and you like can't flip the switch on. It's just
that's not how her power works, but sure.
It hurts me.
It looks cool and it's fun. Shut off your brain and enjoy it.
No, I don't get down like that, man.
I do, and this show is exceptionally good at it.
I'm making people into drooling idiots?
Don't care. Had fun. That's all. I had more fun watching that show than any of the others.
Yeah.
I looked forward to watching it more than any of the others, so it absolutely gets first place.
Nice. Well, that's good. There you have it, folks. We'll be back next time.
With more indecisive placements.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you actually want to drop any of these shows? Or were you kidding?
Yes, all of them.
Literally all of them? And pick up 5 brand new shows in the middle of the season?
No.
Okay.
We'll decide what to do between now and next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.